Today, Supervisor Janet Nguyen defended herself against a scathing grand jury report that raised troubling questions about the nexus between healthcare lobbyists and ordinance changes for CalOptima, the county's healthcare program for the indigent, elderly, and poor. Can you talk a little bit about, in this case, how that was coordinated, what the process is like? I mean, what a lobbyist asks for. How do you have conversations about fundraisers being held? Who does that? Do you guys have them while you're writing ordinances? Does that come later? I just wanted to kind of go into that a little bit more.
I get donations of $5, $10 from my constituent. Since I was on the city council, I had a lady who was 80 years old back in 2004 who sent me a donation for $5.
You talked about the individuals that give you money for your contributions, but I'm curious again about how this process, and again the grand jury seemed to call it out, seemed to run concurrent, where lobbyists were working with you on an ordinance change at the same time that planning was being done for a fundraiser. And so again, I'm curious about the details of that. Is that your fundraiser, their fundraiser? Did they start sending out invitations to that?
6 months prior to your re-election, especially before your filing, you host as many fundraisers as you can. Whether it be at a neighbor's house for $10, whether it be a coffee, or in my district, you can have burritos or pho.
Yeah, but I keep asking about this process, not the process in general.
It's the same process, though, Roberto.
Well,
it's
but I'm asking about this process. This is the one that the grand jury called out. They didn't talk about the 80-year-old that gave you a contribution or hamburgers or burritos.
Roberto, it's the same process.
And you're saying that the healthcare, the HASC lobbyists had no role in drafting that amendment, or that ordinance at all?
Not with my office, not with the county. We have the paper trails for it. So
did you have private conversations with HASC then during that period?
We met with anyone who asked for a meeting at that time.
Why do you keep dancing around and answer that question? Did you have private conversations with HASC about an ordinance change at the same time that they were preparing to organize a fundraiser for you?
We had conversations with everybody who had an interest, whether they're community clinics, they're hospitals.
But you won't talk about the fact that you had meetings with HASC while you were drafting an ordinance that would benefit their industry, and they were concurrently planning fundraisers for you. I mean, isn't that what happened?
Roberto, we had meetings.
Completely in left field on that?
We had meetings with any parties who requested for a meeting with me.
Would that include hospital lobbyists?
That includes anybody who requested for the meetings.
Why won't you just, I guess, say
because
the words?
Roberto, it's over a year ago. I would have to go back to my calendar to verify for you.
With
to
all
make sure
that's been happening here, I mean, you guys have been researching this, you put together boards and everything. You don't know the central question of the grand jury report? That's the central issue that they raised.
The central issue the grand jury, no, the central issue the grand jury made was a big mistake. They stated that the amendment that changed the CalOptima composition was March of 2011. Outright wrong.
The picture they have painted is a close relationship with you and the hospital industry.
But they painted the fact that you yourself went out there and said that the lobbyists rewrote the ordinance. It was incorrect.
So the lobbyists had no impact on that ordinance whatsoever, which is what you said.
Look, the health benefit exchange that the grand jury referenced was from March 2011, not the composition of the board of directors that I authored in December 2011. Any other questions?